Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Ruach and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to the house of David, which is the elect. And I want to do a video on this video that I saw yesterday. Says footage shows moment ICE officials arrest Tufts University student. Now, through the spirit, as I was watching this video, just the thought, it came to me that, we have to be prepared for this moment. All right. You have to be spiritually, mentally prepared for the moment where, this devil is going to come down upon those that, fear the Lord. Right. And because it is gospel, right, because it is truth, as we already have been forewarned that we know that Esau is going to persecute the church, right? And it's not something that hasn't happened before, right? We know during the time leading up to 70 AD, you had the believers of Hamashiach Yahawashi, right, who, were called Christians, right? Followers of the Messiah, that they were being persecuted, within the realm of the Roman Empire. All right. And, we know that in these latter days, being in Rome, reloaded, right, as or the second beast, right, that exercises all of the power of the first beast, that, this is going to happen again. OK, and we can see by the things that are playing out right now in this world, specifically with this, immigration onslaught, right, or immigration detaining, these immigrants, that this is ultimately going to lead up to us that, believe in this truth, also will be, some of us will also be grabbed up. And like I said, Yahawashi, told us that these things were going to happen. Now, when Trump first initially, started this whole immigration, roundup of immigrants, at first they were speaking about grabbing up, the ones who are committing crimes, right? The ones that, came here within the last, 4 years because of the whole incident with the southern border, where you had a lot of people come through the south border, right, and southern border, and a lot of them, they say, were criminals, gang members, rapists. They were a lot that were being released from prisons in other South American countries. But now you're seeing how that narrative has shifted, and now you have people who came here legally, under, legal status, right? Students that came here, obtained a visa, right? And, didn't illegally cross over here, but did it through the right channels. They're now actually being grabbed up by ICE, agents, and being right in broad daylight, right, and being taken to without any warning or without any communication by their peers or by their family members, being taken out of state somewhere else. All right, so we're seeing how things are being built up to the point where we know that eventually these situations are going to take place, to where the believers, right, starting with the prophets, right, the ones that are hazarding their lives, right, because that's what the scripture says, that this is what we're doing. Hazard. Let's see, hazard. Let's see if it pops up. No, I know it wasn't going to pop up that way. I think it's in the book of Acts, the 15th chapter. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Acts chapter 15, verse 26. It says, men that have hazarded their lives for the name of our Lord Yahawashi HaMashiach, right? And when you go into this word hazarded, see what it says in the Greek, right? To give into the hands of another, to deliver to one, something to keep, to use and manage, to deliver up treacherously, to deliver up to custody, to be judged, condemned, punished, scourged, tormented, put to death. See? So, us being out on the highways and byways, right? Preaching this gospel, right? Chanting down Babylon, right? Professing, the future, okay, of this place, which is the prophesying all of these things, telling Esau his judgment. All right. Speaking about the coming of our Lord Yahawashi and the vengeance that he is going to take upon, his adversaries and our adversaries. All of these things is going to is hazarding our lives because, we are publishing this, publicly. Okay. And all we're doing is just reading the Bible, right, and speaking the truth. But yet these things will be used as a way to persecute us and deem us, enemies, of the state. Matter of fact, I have this article here. Not article, videos. Is this one? No, it's this one, right? And this is what the I forgot the guy's name or his title, but basically listen to what he says. I think he's the guy that's in control of the whole, deportation of the immigrants within Trump's administration. So listen to this.
Border Czar Tom Homan
So there you go, Border Czar, right? So that's this guy, and he's gun ho for being a hard line against immigrants and people that are what they call so-called enemies of the state or things like that. So listen to what he says.
Telling us Monday the mission of the administration is simple.
We're removing significant public safety threats and national security threats from this country.
So they're removing significant public safety threats and national security threats from the country. Let's listen to that again. All right.
Safety threats and national security threats.
I hate his mouth.
Removing significant public safety threats and national security threats from this country. So
now that's that can be a wide range, of things, right? And it also can be something that they could, that's a big umbrella, right? You painting with a broad brush, and that could be something that they can just, use to say, okay, well, you are a national security threat, right? Or you are a public, safety threat. And that's the same thing that they did, during the time of the Roman Empire. First, with Claudius, right? When we go to Acts 1 verse 18 verse 1, it says, "In these things, after these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth, and found a certain Jew named Aquila, born in Pontus, lately come from Italy, with his wife Priscilla, because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome, and came unto them." All right. Now this is a historical, an historical event that took place, right, which was recorded in the scriptures. But when you go actually, do a little quick Google search, and you go to, right, I just typed in, why did Claudius expel Jews from Rome? So AI overview says Emperor Claudius, right, which was the emperor that was after Caligula, right? And then before Caligula, you had Augustus, and then before that, you had Julius Caesar. So it says Emperor Claudius expelled Jews from Rome in AD 49, right? So this was a few years, maybe, we could say about anywhere between 20 years, after 20 years to yeah, around 20 years, around that time after Yahawashi resurrected and, went back to the spirit world on the right hand of the Father. So, only 20 years removed where you had this gospel spreading, right? As it says, likely due to the disturbances caused by religious tensions and the spread of, they call Christianity, but the spread of the believers of Yahawashi, which once again were Jews, right? Israelites that, believed on the gospel of Yahawashi, which was preached by the disciples, right? And which became apostles, and also Apostle Paul and his fellow servants. And it started to spread throughout Asia Minor, even all the way up to Rome, because you had Israel that was spread throughout that region. Okay, because of the Greek Empire, right? When you had the Grecians, which were Israelites that adopted Greek as their culture. It says, which Suetonius attributed to constant rioting at the instigation of Christus, a mispronunciation of Christ, which is Mashiach or Yahawashi. So it became more of a constant disturbance within Rome, the Roman, country. And this is why you had Claudius expel, the Jews out of Rome. See, and it's interesting how, you see what's going on now with a lot of so-called Christians, right, that are now coming up against the doctrine of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi, right? And they're not actually, really followers of Yahawashi, right? These modern day Christians are nothing more than just pagans, right? They believe in pagan holidays, right? They follow really pagan worship, right? Easter, Ishtar, okay, Saturnalia, Christmas, all right? They believe in universalism, okay, where everybody can make it. That's pagan culture as well. So they just now call themselves, under the umbrella of Christianity, but they're not the actual followers of Hamashiach Yahawashi, right? They're not the actual followers of the Messiah, right? That is the ones who are now, right, coming into this knowledge and truth, right? And what is called, the Hebrew Israelites, right? Which is, just our culture, right? That's our heritage. That's our ethnicity, you see? But there is now becoming a conflict with a lot of these so-called Christians trying to, come up and, debate us, do TikTok videos coming up to our, the campsites. You got guys like Vocab Malone that is doing, accomplishing, diligent searches and consistently coming up against us. James, what was that guy? Dr. Was it James Brown? I believe that was his name. Him as well. You have James White, the Edomite. No, Michael Brown. Michael Brown. That was that guy's name. The one that was, caught being a little deviant, sexual deviant, right? But nonetheless, this is, history repeating itself. As the scripture says, there's nothing new underneath the sun. So let's read a little bit here. It says, the context: by the time Claudius reigned from 41 to 54 AD, Rome had a significant Jew population. I don't want to say Jew population. And the message of the Messiah was beginning to spread, which is got going on now, leading to eternal conflicts within the Jew community. Says Suetonius, a Roman historian, wrote that Claudius expelled the Jews from Rome because of constant rioting at the instigation of Christus. Like the likely disturbances were the disturbances were likely caused by tensions between those who followed the traditional Jew faith and those who had embraced the following of Yahawashi, with the latter's message of Hamashiach being a point of contention. And like I say, it's interesting now because you have a lot of these people that are traditionally, right, Christianity, pagans, right, paganist religious beliefs that are now coming up against those who have embraced the true doctrine of Yahawashi, right? Being the true followers of Yahawashi, right? With the latter's message, right, of Yahawashi, which the latter message is the message that what Yahawashi is coming to destroy this age, right? Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed, and these heathens are going to be put into subjection under the elect of the nation of Israel, and only the elect of the nation of Israel are going to be saved, right? And that is what a point of contention. Now, because what most people traditionally believe, and this is how you know, as the scripture says, woe unto them that call good evil, evil good, that put lights for darkness and darkness for light, that put sweet for bitter and bitter for sweet. Isaiah the 5th chapter. Really, everything is all backwards now. Okay, everything is backwards right now. But the main thing, right, the message of Yahawashi is really still the point of contention, right? Which is the Lord said that you're going to be hated. Right, let's get that. Hated for my name. Let's see. This is hated name. Let's see what comes up. Oh. Namesake. Oops. There's a bunch of scriptures, but let's see which one we find. Luke chapter 6, verse 22 says, "Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake." Okay. Let's see what else. Yep. Matthew 5:11, "Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake." All right. Matthew 10:22, "And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved." You see? So we're in a time where the endurance, right, is going to be needed, man, because now we can go back to this. Just get a little bit more information on this. Here, right? This is coming from Bible Odyssey, Jews in Rome. It says, "Why were the Jews forbidden from meeting in Roman synagogues in 41 CE?" So you also had that during the time of Claudius, that he forbade the Israelites, right, to meet in synagogues, right, and in their place of the place of assembly. So it says, "We know from ancient Roman historian Cassius Dio that the Emperor Claudius ordered the Jews not to hold meetings in Rome around 41 CE, and yet Cassius did not explicitly reveal why Claudius would prohibit Roman Jews from meeting in synagogues." So Jews that basically lived in Rome, right, grew up in Rome, things like that. If we look at Claudius' letter to Alexandria, we see that he explicitly warns the Jews not to engage in certain activities, which, if carried out, would entice his wrath upon them. So this also is going to lead, right, in this day, in this time, to the famine of the word, because, brothers, usually when brothers get together, right, from majority of the time, there's going to be some type of edification that comes out. Now we have it to where brothers go out on the highways and byways, once a week. All right. But you also have when brothers congregate and assemble that, brothers end up doing, sit downs to edify the church. Right. Because that's what our purpose is, man. Our purpose is to push out this word. See, and the Lord put out, the spirit on us to, whenever we have that chance, that opportunity, to do so and to get together, that's what we do. So back then, during the time of Claudius, he forbade, right, the meetings of these of Jews. You see, So that's also going to happen, during this time as well. Let's see what else we have. It says, it seems plausible then. Let's see. It seems plausible then that Claudius' ban on Jew synagogues meeting was an attempt to restrict Jew activity in general terms, with the intention of limiting any further religious or political disturbance. All right. So it says, if the expulsion of Jews from Rome was indeed a result of Christian disturbance, the question remains, was the synagogue ban also a result of conflict surrounding Yahawashi within the Jew circles? See that? So the Yahawashi, being spoken of amongst the Jews, right, that believed in him in Rome, was causing, disturbances within the community within Rome, and therefore you had Claudius ban, the synagogue assembly of the Israelites. Okay, so now we can go here, and that just, like I said, that was just to set a backdrop, of what we are to expect, in the near future, and we can clearly see it by the way that this administration led by Trump, right, which we believe, through the Spirit, is Nero, coming back, that these things are going to take place again, which is prophecy. Okay, so let's listen to this.
Well, let's go to Massachusetts now, where a Ring camera captured the moment ICE agents arrested a Tufts University graduate student. We want to show you that video up close. Watch the lower left corner here as authorities approached the young woman and handcuffed her.
Now, Talaki, I want to show one that when he initially came up to them. So these guys were in plain clothes. Let's see if this
a lot of focus on the major scandals that we're seeing every day, and actually too many to name or totally get your arms around. But it's also important to stay aware of what is happening out in our country, where we are seeing the Trump administration. In some p.m. yesterday, had just left her apartment when she's approached by a guy in a dark hoodie and hat who then grabs her hands. You can see and hear how upset and scared she is as an officer finally pulls out a badge and appears to identify himself as law enforcement.
So, like, here, there's one, I thought I had it pulled up, that basically shows the whole thing. Let's type that and see that. Let's see. Let's try this one.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right, 100.
Yeah, so you can clearly see that they were already, tracking her. They knew where she was going to, end up at. I think they said that she was just leaving her house. So they were waiting outside of her house. And as soon as they came outside, they were in plain clothes. There was an unmarked vehicle and had their faces covered. And this is what happened. Head down, acting like she had no clue.
I'll show you everything. Okay, sure. Yep. You're fine.
I understand you. Are you looking scary? Where the police? Where the police?
Yeah, you don't look like it. Why are you hiding your faces? Why are you hiding your faces?
Yep. Take everything. Yep, I'm gonna get the back.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look.
How do I know this?
And there's what, 6 of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 of them. Interesting. So yeah, so that's basically what happened. And this woman, she had no clue, right? that day that I think this happened on Tuesday, which is like 2 days ago, that she was about to get grabbed up, by ICE agents. So now we can go to this one because it gives a little bit more commentary.
Now, this happened right outside an off-campus apartment building in Somerville, just north of Boston. A lawyer for the student says she is a Muslim Turkish student with a valid student visa. Let's go to our breaking news correspondent, Chanel Call, in the CBS newsroom in New York. Chanel, good to see you again today. That video is terrifying because when moments like that happen, you don't know who is grabbing you. So can you tell us what we know right now about that arrest?
Yeah, and Mugo, we actually also have another angle of that scene to share with you. So I want to show you that video right now. It essentially shows 6 plainclothes agents handcuffing 30-year-old Rumeysa Ozturk. Once we show you that video, you'll be able to see it, and you can also hear the person who captured this video actually noting that most of the officers there were masked. These Homeland Security agents, they were there, they removed her backpack, and then eventually they walked her down the street into a vehicle. Now, all of this happened on Tuesday evening, and we should mention Ozturk is a Turkish national, also an international graduate student at Tufts University in Massachusetts. Now, in a petition that was filed in Boston federal court, her lawyer, Mugo, says that she was leaving her home, heading to an iftar dinner with friends when this happened on Tuesday evening. Federal agents have so far not explained why she was taken from her home and detained.
Wow, and Chanel, here's the other part of this story that just blows my mind here. Lawyers for that student, they say they do not know where she is right now and have not been able to contact her.
Now, listen to that right there. Okay, once again, you have to have your minds prepared and ready for this scenario, these situations, because these things are happening right now for, individuals who Esau knows she ain't doing nothing, right? She's not in any way, shape, or form somebody that is threatening to, as that guy said, right, a national threat or public hazard, or whatever he said. Okay, but here it is. You got the prophets that are out on the highways and byways that are telling, right, Esau that Yahawashi is coming back to take them out of power, right? That Yahawashi is coming to destroy their kingdom, right? And when Yahawashi returns, he is going to endow his elect with power. Right, men that you see that are out on the highways and byways, he is going to endow us with power to subdue the nations, pursuant to Revelation 2:26. And we're going to exact vengeance upon our adversaries and our enemies, chiefly Esau, Edom. And these elites, they know that they're Edomites. That is why the scripture says in Revelation 12:12. That the devil is coming down upon you with great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. It's only a matter of time where these things start to happen unto the believers of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Okay. So as the lady just said, that her lawyers, they don't even have a clue onto where she was at or where she's at when it initially happened. Right. And that, ties into Revelation 2, verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Now, that woman, when she just got grabbed up, and as the news anchor lady said, it has to be a fearful thing when you don't know who's coming at you, who's grabbing you. You got 6 people, they're in plain clothes. They don't, they're not showing themselves immediately to be police officers, and they're just coming to grab you up. You see? And this woman, right? She, like I said, like they said, she was on her way to go to dinner. So she was thinking that she was about to just have a regular day, her day, leaving her house, about to go with friends, to eat dinner. And then boom, next thing she knows, she in the back of a ICE agent's car. Okay. So for us, we understand, we have the knowledge and wisdom and understanding, as it says in Isaiah the 33rd chapter, so that will make us stable in these times. So Yahawashi says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days, right? 10 meaning, a perfect, amount of time, right? 10 is perfection, right? Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right. So you have to keep these things, these scriptures, embedded in your mind, so that when this time comes, that you're not soon shaken, that you're not, troubled, you're not fearful. You understand exactly what this is, and understanding that, hey, this is happening for the gospel's sake, right? And that's what you can rejoice in. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12. Beloved, think it not strange, the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice insomuch as ye are partakers of Hamashiach's suffering, that when he is glory, Salakia, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. And if ye be reproached for the name of Hamashiach, see, she's being reproached because they're saying that she supported Hamas, right? Which, when you actually go into, I believe they're going to go into it, there's actually no evidence that she actually supported Hamas, right? But in regardless, what she is being detained off of that basis. We are going to be detained. They're going to come for us because of the name of Yahawashi, as we just saw happened already in Rome, right? With Claudius, and then with Nero, because after Claudius, right, was the emperor, then Nero came, and Nero did hell, okay, to the point where he ransacked in Jerusalem and destroyed the temple. See, but even before that, in Rome, Nero was actually killing, right, murdering Israelites that believed in Yahawashi. You see? So going back here, let's listen.
So do we know what's going on there?
Yeah, a bit of an update with this. So earlier today, Mugo, her lawyers had said, we don't know where she is, we don't know where she's being held, and we haven't been able to contact her. But just moments ago, a DHS spokesperson confirmed to CBS News that Ozturk is now being held in a Louisiana detention center. That spokesperson also says...
Imagine that. She was in Boston, right, on Tuesday evening, and this came out yesterday. So within a day, right, she is in Louisiana. So she went from Boston all the way to Louisiana without her lawyers knowing, without the ability to call or contact anybody because they took her phone, right? So she was in that situation by herself, completely alone, having no clue what was about to happen of her. And this is all because of what she says, engage in activities in support of Hamas. Now, once again, they already deem, this gospel and belief of this gospel extremist, right? Trying to link us to DTs, right? Domestic T's. You see? And this is why the Lord said that you're going to have friends, family, loved ones. They're going to betray you because they're going to not want to be associated with you during this, when all of these accusations come about. Okay, this is why you have to, be steadfast, man. You got to be firm in your belief. See, the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse, let's go to verse 18. It says, and ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in the same hour what ye shall speak. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth unto the end shall be saved. Okay, so once again, this is already a forewarning that Yahawashi gave us, right? And the Lord also said that he told us these things before they happen, so that when they happen, you can know that, what he said was true. All right. And when it happens, you won't be, confused. You won't be troubled. You won't be in a state of disarray or panic, because you already know that, yeah, this is something that's going to happen. Right. And this is why when you're in this truth, you can't be taking this as a game or a joke, man. This is deadly serious. Right. What we're speaking about is the changing of worlds, the changing of rulership, and rulership doesn't change, smoothly. OK, it doesn't change, with a handshake. All right. And these devils, they know that what we're saying has power in it, man. And it's actually causing, the prophecies to come to pass. So they know that they don't have much time left.
Turk is, quote, granted the privilege to be in this country on a visa. DHS and ICE investigations found Ozturk engaged in activities in support of Hamas, a foreign terrorist organization that relishes the killing of Americans. A visa, they say, is a privilege, not a right. And glorifying and supporting terrorists who kill Americans, they say, is grounds for a visa issuance to be terminated. This, it goes on to say, is common sense security. But again, no word from federal agents on if charges will be laid here. Hey,
and, you had certain of these other Israelite groups that were actually out there protesting, with, pro-Palestinian protesters, man. Right. They had the Palestinian flag and all of that BS. And that also goes to show you that these guys, whether they be, just stupid, foolish, or they could be set up also by, the government, by ESAU, to do those things so that they can say, oh, yeah, we got to take these people that claiming to be Hebrew Israelites, or they going to say BHIs. Right. Because they also are linked to pro-Palestinian protesters. So this is why we also say, man, hey, we're not connected, with either side, man. We're not in support of the Palestinians or the 48ers. We're in support of Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahawashi. But you got these guys that go out there and they want to teach, right, amongst the protesters, right? They want to go and protest with them. Hey, and that's going to be, like I said, that's going to be used for a cause to come up against the gospel and the ministry. But the true men of the Lord and assisting you sisters are going to be provided and protected by the Lord. OK, there was another one where this individual had said something that he said it was. Let me see if I can find that one. If not, then it is what it is. But he said, so because they was out here protesting for her, and the dude said, it's scary to think that you can just be taken,
what am I looking forward to in life? Definitely.
This one. No, let's look at this one. Not the CBS one. Let me go to my history. Maybe this one. Let me see.
One of the latest people to be detained by federal agents and threatened with deportation is a doctoral student at Tufts University. No. Surveillance footage shows masked plainclothes officers.
What's the NBC one?
This is the moment.
Yeah, it was this one right here. So this guy says this, right? Because they was out here protesting.
Spreading fear in the community.
The fact that someone can just be disappeared into the abyss for voicing an idea is absolutely horrifying.
There you go. somebody can be disappeared into the abyss just for voicing an idea is horrifying. And that's exactly what we're doing, right? We're voicing our belief, right, in the faith that we have in the word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi, but yet that is what's going to be used as a means to try to to take some of us and cast some of us in prison, as happened to that one chick, So let's get this here and we'll close it out. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 70. It says, "For there should be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like mad men, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. They shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire." You see that? Being tried as gold in the fire. But the chosen are going to endure those things. Okay. But as it says, in order for this to happen, in order for you to be tried as gold in the fire, you got to be cast in the fire. Right. And the fire is representing of what? Your adversities, the afflictions, right? The persecution. All right. And that is, all really for the glory of the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi, because as we read in 1 Peter, going back there, right, it says, "If ye be reproached for the name of Yahawashi, happy are ye, for the spirit of glory and of the Most High resteth upon you. On their part he is evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters." There you go. So we're not supposed to be suffering in these things, right? The suffering that we are going to endure should not be because of any of these wicked attributes or activities. Okay, you shouldn't be in suffering because you are over here pro Hamas and pro Palestine. No. All right, because that's not what we're about. We're pro Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi, okay, and the kingdom of Israel being established upon the earth. See, so it says, "If any man suffer as a Christian, right, a follower of Yahawashi, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify the Most High on this behalf." So when these things start to happen, don't be ashamed, right? Don't try to talk your way out of it, as we read in Matthew's the 10th chapter. Right? Don't be timid. Don't be fearful, but glorify the Most High, because that means, as it says in the book of Acts, right, that you're found worthy to suffer for the name of the Lord. And that is that's a blessing, right? Is it Acts 3? It might be Acts 5. Because that means that, hey, you're more than likely the elect. Okay, you're more than likely the elect. Acts 5 verse 40, it says, and to him they agreed, and when they had called the apostles and beaten them, they commanded that they should not speak in the name of Yahawashi, and let them go. And they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name. There you go. Because if you're suffering shame for the name of Yahawashi, then you're going to receive glory at the return of Yahawashi. Okay, and that is where it says, what? Then to show his chosen be known, because the chosen aren't going to fold. They're not going to buckle, right? They're not going to denounce the Lord's name, right? It says, "Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your God." Okay, so hey, these days of trouble are at hand, as we clearly seeing it, taking shape in real time. But the Lord said that he will deliver us from these things. You see, so I just wanted to touch on this and just put that out there, man. So prepare your minds for these things, man. Starting with the elders and apostles, we have been warning about the persecution that's coming. And, now we're seeing how things are shaping up, and, hey, this can happen at any moment, man. All right. So, with that, Lord willing, this is edifying unto the elect, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahawashi, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Shalom.